How's it going, everyone? It's good to talk to you all again. I'm actually recording this back to back with my Francis of the Filth review. And what I'm going to be reviewing today is actually Fahrenheit 451. Interestingly enough, I don't have the book with me as I rented it from a library, read it, and returned it. So I can't show that off to the camera or anything like that right now. But I wanted to read this book because, for starters, I've been on a little bit of a dystopian bender the past few months. And I'm kind of just going through and reading some of the classics. And I decided to start with Fahrenheit 451. The reason for this being that I knew that it was a really, really good book. And I'd actually read it in high school, probably like every other American in this country. I read it in high school, but I didn't really give it the full attention that I feel like it deserved. So I figured I would just go through and I would read it again and kind of just gather from it what I could and form like an actual opinion on it. And I will say that my opinion of Fahrenheit 451 is that it is really, really good. I think it is one of the more original dystopian books out there. I haven't read too many as of yet, but I feel like I don't know if I really have anything against 1984, but it definitely has become a little bit of a joke in the past few years, just with the political climate and everything like that. So I kind of have just a personal vendetta against it, and just all the sort of cringe that really surrounds it. But Fahrenheit 451, it's a very original concept. For those who may not know, it's a book that takes place in a dystopian future where the American government essentially outlaws books, makes it illegal to own or read or write books. And all the houses have been fireproofed, so they can no longer burn down. So what the government does is they turn the firemen from people who put out fires, and they give them jobs instead starting fires by burning books. People who find, if someone finds that their neighbor has like a hidden library in their house, they report it to the government and they say, hey, come burn down my neighbor's house. And the main character is one of these firemen, so to speak, who goes around burning books. And seriously, even just from the very first chapter, from the very first few pages, it is very engaging, and it just very quickly sets the tone for the world, for the book, for Montag's character. I think that's how his name is pronounced. And it's very, the tone is very consistent throughout the book. It's this sort of just dreary, especially, Montag's life more specifically, is just this dreary, sort of empty, meaningless life. And it portrays that very well through the first and second scenes. The first scene, he runs into a little girl who is the daughter of a pair of parents who are a bit more like rebellious against the government. They probably own some books themselves. They're a little more intellectual. He runs into this little girl and she starts asking him questions like, have you ever noticed that there's a man in the moon? Don't you love the smell of the air? And he asks him, are you happy? Right? And that's the question that really pierces him, is when she asks him, are you happy? And it kind of shocks him. And he doesn't really know how to react to that. And the little girl leaves, she goes home, and he's kind of just left thinking about that. He's like, of course I'm happy, of course I'm happy. And then he walks into his house, and he finds his wife lying basically motionless on her bed. Him and his wife sleep in different beds. She's lying motionless on her bed with an empty bottle of pills on the floor. And bam, he knows that his wife tried to kill herself. So he calls over some doctors or some people from the hospital, and they come over and they pump her stomach. And he just has this traumatic experience with these people, sticking this, I think he calls it like a snake or something like that, sticking the snake down his wife's throat. These people he's never met before coming into his house and pumping his nearly dead wife's body empty of all of her stomach's contents to save her life, right? And these guys are talking about like, oh yeah, we get a couple of these jobs a night, it's nothing big, like it's no big deal. And it's just, wow, like it really just sets how dark this world is. And And then the thing that's crazy is he wakes up the next morning and he talks to his wife about what happened the night before, and he's like, you tried to kill yourself last night. And she's like, what? Did I? And she doesn't even remember that she tried to kill herself. And it's fantastic. It's really, really good. I think most people who read this book will immediately gather that the message of it is the importance of books, right? And I think that's definitely true, but I think there's a lot more to the message of this book than just that books are important and like the themes of censorship that go throughout it. Those are all definitely very integral, but I think that there's more to this book. I think it delves a lot also just into the relation, like the state of the average relationship of Americans in this dystopian world. And it shows just how deprecated the relationships have become and how meaningless their lives have become. And I mean, they have like in every house they have these like TV walls. I think they call it like the parlor or something like that, where Montag's wife just has these TVs blaring day in and day out. They never talk to each other. Then they're not intimate at all. Again, they sleep in different beds and they're married, right? And it's very interesting because I think the book bannings are only just one effect of a much greater cause. The cause, I don't know if Ray Bradbury really gives us a very definite cause of what led to this dystopian future in his book. Maybe he does, maybe I just missed it. But there's a lot of depth to this book, and it's one of the best cautionary tales ever written, in my opinion. It was really, really good. I'm a very big fan of the book. As for a rating, it's a solid 9 out of 10, I would say. Ray Bradbury, he did an excellent job with that book. It's very, very short. It's very succinct, and it gets to the point. It gets the message across. It doesn't waste your time with unnecessary dialogues or introducing unnecessary characters. It's really good. But yeah, probably 9 out of 10. I feel very comfortable giving it that rating. But anyway, that's been my review of Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Thanks.